Right, now, so fenders. So we're looking it's too long. So we need to move the radiator back. So you have these 3 holes and we will be moving it back. So first of all, I've done this for a while, so I can't remember really. Got those 2 mounting points for the cross member that holds bottom of the radiator and the oil cooler. No, is it oil cooler? Yes, oil cooler right there. That is this. So I'm gonna, this is coming back. I'm gonna put that hole there and then see where we are front to back wise. I remember last time I did this, I think on both of them, I welded this in because on the, I don't know why they're both removable. You've got a removable top mount and a removable bottom mount. So I don't know, in a Vic maybe you can't get stuff out from the top, but in a truck you can. So I remember last time I definitely welded that in on one of the trucks, maybe both.
Hello.
Hey. 10 minutes maybe. Look, I just want to move the radiator back a little bit more because I'm halfway through now.
How did you know this was my end of day check-in, letting you know dinner's ready?
Simpatico. That's what it is. We are forever bonded together in simpatico.
You know I like that word. You're playing me right now.
Okay, just
what do you, so what are you, I can keep it hot like it's pasta. I can like reheat it later. What do you have to, what do you still have to, what do you still have to do?
No, I just want to get this in because I did the hole wrong on the other side and I just want to
get one thing right before you call it a night.
Yeah. Yeah, that's better. I did this hole completely wrong. Idiot. Well, no, I didn't do it wrong. I just have to make another one there. Then I've got infinite adjustability on moving it back. Now, right now, it's back about 1.5 inches. So if you come stand here, look straight across. The front of that front cooler there to the end of the fender, the radiator support has to go there. So this all has to be far enough back so it will be able to.
I appreciate that you respect me enough to explain all of this to me, even though I will absorb approximately 0 of it.
You're surprisingly absorbative.
I need you to revise how you talked to yourself and about yourself when you said you were an idiot.
Okay. I created an opportunity for myself to do it better.
There you go. I prefer that immensely.
Okay, let me just make one more hole.
Okay.
And then I'll be in 10 minutes. Another 10 minutes. On top of the other 10 minutes. But the other 10 minutes is probably gone now. So this is a new 10 minutes because you've probably been here for 10 minutes. Right?
If your goal is just to completely
Is what?
confuse me out of keeping track, you won.
No. My goal is clarity. It's always clarity. Clarity in trash cans.
All right.
I built myself a table. Yeah, I still use trash cans.
That's because you filled up your whole table.
I know. Yeah.
That's how I am with shoes, though. So see, now you understand.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely do.
See you when you get done.
Okay. Okay, better go in. Wife-tastic wants me in. So, we have, I think, well, can't really go any further back. I've never moved that bottle before, so we'll try and not move that bottle. I don't like mechaniculia happenings. This is about as mechaniculia as I get, although saying that, I'm gonna have to do rocker cover, oil pan, transmission. Prefer chopping metal up and sticking it back together. But for me, the radiator is just canted too far back. So I'm like an idiot because I was rushing. I tried to bend this on my first fit and then pop the clips on this holder, so I'll have to find where they went. Because then what I did, I was like, why don't I just clearance the bracket? So I'll just clearance the bracket so they can stay where they are. Then I'm probably going to cut this right there, put a nut cert in the frame for that one, and then underneath, I think we'll get the jack underneath it tomorrow, and I think it's going to come back to near where the red wire is, I would say, to just get the angle slightly better, mark it, and I think a couple of nut certs are going to be going in. I did weld it last time, but I don't know. I have a nut cert kit now, I didn't have that last time, so I suppose we can do that. Came on. That's a pretty good day actually. A slow start. Yesterday was a lot of up and downs, and at 52 I'm slowing down a little bit, so definitely a slow start to the day. But the cab ain't moving. It ain't moving, so the cab is like good for that for now. So fenders will go on after we've moved that bottom part back another probably inch. Then we will start messing around with the chopper doodling of the front panel, probably as tight as we can. Shall see how that works out, and yes, that will be tomorrow. Okay, have a delightful night. So on with the radiator again. I cannot see any reason to weld the lower bracket and the upper bracket on. It's what I do, and everything's going to come up from the top anyway, from a truck, and welds don't come loose like bolts do. So I'm really thinking that we'll throw a couple tacks in there and the other side, probably chop that back here off, because if it's welded we don't need so much, make it a bit prettier. Same on the other side, and then pivot it back and then weld the bottom on, because that'll give the strength to the front end when I'm going to end up chopping this around there, because obviously that's going to come off. So yeah, I think I'm going to weld them on. Yep. So those top radiator mounts are just tacked in place. So I'm now trying to see, ballpark, how this is all going to go together. Now, you see that bracket there? That has to mount to there. So it's going to insert to the front face. Now that lower lip is obviously going to go below the radiator. I think this is going to be a victim, and that cooler, although those AC lines I think are sticking out further, but that cooler is power steering, and I want to do electric power steering, so that cooler's going to go. So that's something, but those AC lines are definitely going to be cutting around those. But I'd say we're going to be going behind that bump right there, which I think is a crash, doohickey, whatever. I think that's where we're going to be going with the actual cut of the chassis legs. The lower mount right now just has a couple tacks, and you can see the black line, that's where I'm going to cut first. Could be behind that bump, but we'll go in front of the bump to begin with and then see where this is once it's getting closer to that mount up there. So we'll have to see if we are going to be keeping those automatic transmission cooler lines. I thought they were AC. I remember modifying those, I think, on the F71, bringing them out sidewards and below or something like that. I remember doing it. So we'll see what issues are run into. So fenders on now, and then let's see where that heavy piece of metal sits. Well, definitely better. Transmission cooler line's still there, obviously, but we'll see. Yeah, for the sake of rerouting these lines, I don't want to cut the core support if I don't have to. I think we're going to pull those lines. Right, so this bottom lip here is going to run straight into the transcooler right there, and then this vertical there is going to do half of the chassis leg. So I'm actually going to go half of the chassis leg in to the back of that, what I think is a crash bump concertina thing, and see where we're at then. I mean, we might be taking the whole thing off, but I'd rather chop less than more. I guess this is what you call measure once, cut twice, because I should have actually cut the outside off, not the inside. What a knob. We're inching up on it slowly. Slowly. So I took those supports off. Couldn't get it in because of that. So we got this side in. That's inserted properly. And you can see there, just going to take that cut out higher. And then it's a really good way of centering it actually. There. It's a really good way of centering it. Those little cutouts, because they're even on the front panel. And if the chassis legs are in the right place, which I'm assuming, but not a guarantee, this should be good to go. Game on. This is insane. How many years have I had this for? And yet the Lancaster Desert still keeps falling out. Wow. We are getting closer. We definitely are getting closer. When I finished up last night, one thing I was thinking to myself is, do you think Chevy was watching us this entire time, trying to fit F100s to Crown Vics and just laughing, knowing how well C10s would go on? It's insane. I'm going to be doing some more trimming around the bottom of there, obviously, so they can go a bit further in, and then we'll be just breaking those tacks and then moving it so it's on the same plane as the front panel. But yeah, it's really nice, the frame leg. So I'm probably gonna build some kind of mount off the side of here onto there. I think that's gonna be the best thing to do, because I saved these. So I'm gonna see if we can reuse those somehow in, mounting that up. Now, one thing that is an issue right now is body lines. I've no idea where the front of this fender should be height-wise. We're pretty well centered, and I'm going to be shooting for a 3mm gap, ballparking it. That's tight. Now I can pull the fender up and that'll go bigger, but you got that body line there, and then that body line is going to run along the door. So methinks I have to fit the doors to get an idea of where to put this front panel. And I bet he's only changing it mils, but I just think that is what we're going to have to do. Okay, before we do that, let's get this front panel kind of as perfect as we can where it is. I'm not going to put mounts on it, obviously, because we need that door on, which we're going to be doing. But to tilt this forward, it's going to start to have a conversation with that there and that there. So we just need to pull that out, and then we can start to bring that forward. And I think we're going to be cutting a relief there. Something, blah, blah, blah. And then this mount, don't know, that seems further back. So that may be okay. So I think we've got 2 more cuts, and then we just got to bother about the height. So I think that's as far as we're going to get for right now. Bottom horizontal is thinned so they can come forward. These lips are trimmed. Obviously they're going to get prettier than that. That's cut out. Actually doesn't need to be that far, so I may fill it back in. But this is about as far as it wants to come. I think we're happy with that. So now I think we really are onto the door. The whole door came on. Okay, so just carried the heavy arse door for the first time in 3 years out of its slumber. So liberal WD-40ing. And obviously the A-pillar bolts at the bottom are pretty good. I made sure the threads were good on those. And just ran the bolts in and out a few times. Game on. I even put a cloth on the jack. I'm an artist, you know. Piss artist, but artist nonetheless. Very similar to the door carrier we used to use at Singer. Doesn't have the support, foam, adjustability, general finesse, but apart from that, definitely a variation on the theme, methinks. Just thinking to myself, why is the door not going closer? And then I realised it's because it's a foot too low. I bet this truck was thinking, well, the truck's called Cal, by the way. Figured it's from Cal Poly. I just didn't like Poly. Never dated anybody called Poly, but just didn't fancy Poly. Cal, never thought he was going to see these doors ever again. And I've got to admit, at points, it was a long shot. Oh, and this is the first time we get to see if I put the A-pillar in the right place. Exciting. Not nerve-wracking at all. You know, the holes are ish in the right place. See if we can get the bolts and got one in. God damn. 2 in. 3 in. Came on. Okay. Now. Oh. Ah. Kind of hoping that the first shot was going to be more momentous. Oh my god. It's a bit tight there. It's a bit loose there. Oh my god. Damn. Damn. Oh, that's interesting. That body line's high. And this one, let's come out a little bit. Is this fully closed? You know what? Not bad. seal's going to push it out. May grind the holes on these just to get it to go back a bit, because it can, but the level is good, so we don't need to do that now. Thinking there's a kit that somebody does for like up-to-date locks on this. That may be a good thing to get. Okay, fender time. I don't think any vehicle has been a candidate for carbon fibre more than this thing. So this should illustrate loosely what I've been talking about. All 3 bolts are in loose. Granted, they're loose. But I had no idea, without the door being on, whether that was going to be the gap at the bottom, which is obviously too small. And that's going to be basically touching at the bottom, which is too small. Now that I've got that line there and that line there, I can do my gap off the front of this door, ballparking it 3mm all the way up and down. Then I know I've got the height of the front fender, and then I know how high we do that thing. The gap's better, but that body line's too low. So now I think grind these 2 holes just to raise the fender up, just a touch. You know, I've just realised this body line on the fender is low, because this door gap's good. I like the top, that's good. So door height's nice. High and low. And then that is possibly a mil low, but there's probably going to be a mil wiggle room. So I'm thinking, wife. Right now we are level and centered. I think it is actually time to get some metal work done, because I want to box that, chop that off, box that, double skin that, because the mount's going to come off here, this side, somehow, some way, and fill the holes that are needed. Right, the mess was getting me down a little bit, so I had a bit of a clean up. It's not clean, you know, but we have 2 surfaces clean, but we still have a mess. The floor's a bit cleaner as well. Just gets to a point where I'm just like, yep, nope, don't want to be here anymore. So gotta make it a bit more habitable. So we're in full prep of this thing mode. I think we're gonna box that, so this is gone, and then double skin. This is the area I want to double skin. Same here, box that, double skin this area. That's I think where it's going to mount to. Box this in, clean all this up, just do bits. Very rusty though, it's very crusty rusty, so we'll see what we're working with.
Nathan,
Christy,
come back here.
Why?
Come back here right now.
Why?
Because I love you and I'm your wife and you love me back. And also because I think you need to talk to people about what the actual fuck happened to your shirt.
Great lunch, by the way.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Everybody does this.
Do they? Does everybody do this? Lift it up. Show me your belly.
It's just a little...
Show me your belly.
Look.
No, show me your belly. That was not good enough.
There's a part like that, you know...
Turn into the light.
There's no hair. But, you know...
Move your dirty hand. Okay, there you go. So that's... How long ago did that happen?
A couple hours.
And it's still that red.
Yeah.
Just confirming, it's still that red.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about it more.
Jesus.
What happened, and why do you expect that I should be willing to take you to the ER for your own, and sit there for your own dumbassery?
He doesn't have to go see ER.
Because somehow you... What? Tell us. why it doesn't have to go to the air.
When you grind,
what
sparks
happened?
hit you, and then you feel the heat, so you step aside. I felt the heat, I stepped aside, and then it usually cools down, but it kept getting hotter.
You
then I looked
asshole.
down and I was on fire. So I just
You're such an asshole. You're an absolute asshole. I do not want
I'm not going to be able to monetize this video with all your swearing.
Is that true? Can you bleep me?
Don't know. We'll see.
Well, let the record show, although I love you almost unconditionally, if you put yourself in a wheelchair or a burn unit from your own stupidity, you're on your own.
Okay.
Like, I'll show up a little bit, but not the same as if you earned it.
Okay, now. This morning I've been doing something that I think has been taking altogether too long. So we put the skin back on this lower piece. And we have this really thick metal that Miata Rob gave me with a toolkit one time. Oh well, chop that up. This is where the mounts are gonna go. So double skin that. Gonna leave that for now. Gonna leave that for now. Basically, because this is all taking too long. Boxed in where the transmission cooler lines pop out the front. Forgot to weld that. Yeah. Left some drains, basically because I got bored and couldn't be bothered welding anymore. But that will be fine. So we'll stick it on. There has been lots of noodling. It's pretty good, doesn't it, with some of the rust taken off that front panel. Anyway, to fit the front panel, which, you know, some of the repairs have been done on now, I really wanted to reuse that, which is the Crown Vic front panel mount. And I'm just not going to have the real estate to do it because if we use the C10 fender liners, they come down here like that, and I just can't have anything going too far back on the chassis leg. And I think I am overcomplicating something terribly because the double skin mounting plate is there, so it literally is just a piece of square there. I've got some old Adele ring kit, which was actually a body mount kit for this truck on its original frame, and I can do that. And then it's just a piece of square off the actual front panel as well, and all gusseted obviously. This has taken a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be a quick job, just mount to the front frame horns and move on to the bed, something like that. But in my noodling, it's definitely given me pause for thought and to kind of give in to how long the process should take as opposed to being rushed, which is the point that I now am at. So yeah, so kind of like relaxed a little bit, chilled, and just gonna go through the process of getting this front panel fit whenever it gets fit, and also the radiator canted forward and then fitted into place. So yeah, it's all a journey. You never know what you're gonna get. Big box of chocolates. Happy days. I'll spin you around and let's have a talk about these front panel mounts. Now, I thought they were catastrophically in the wrong place in every way because I rushed and wanted to get them done and obviously did them wrong. One thing I learned about the last job is if you do it wrong, you got to do it again. So that's only got 2 tacks in, so that got leveled. They're both height-wise good. That one is down, and I've thrown a load of weld at it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice it across the top there, get it on the right plane, and tack the brace back in, and then cut a brace for that side, get that in, and then we're on to step 2. I have to admit, I do have a problem when stuff looks overly simple, and these front mounts look overly simple. I have a need to want to massively overbuild everything, but I guess that's what is needed right now. So that bracket's fully welded, capped, the bottom one fully welded, and the front panel mount fully welded. Okay, front panel on. For the front panel, I'm going to use these. These were, I think, part of the front panel mounting out of like a poly kit for this cab to go into the original frame. So I just put them on, and because the holes are so damn big, I'm never going to find a center. So I just spray painted the centers of them. So that's that for now. Going pretty much down and dirty on the welding of the top mount to the actual front panel itself. So I'll put the bush centered on that paint ring and gonna literally hold it in place with tape, and then just basically just do it like that. Still moves a bit, but you know, it's fine. I reckon we're gonna go. Now question is, do we want those longer? And of course we do. God damn it. Miata Rob, I hope you are looking down and giggling at this level of dumbassery. This side tray that you gave me with that toolkit has been absolutely invaluable, with nice thick steel to make mounts out of, and frame ends. You're a rock star, dude. Measuring constants, the age-old battle with trying to get these buggers straight. The only thing I can see that I think is a constant, obviously we've got dash stuff, but I want a more direct line with the tape measure to the corner bolt down there, is the redundant left and right hand drive holes for the wipers. That one and that one look to be in the same place, so I'm going to do my cross measurement from there and there to make sure it's good. Height wise, I'm pretty happy with it. It's shimmed and the door gap is good, and it doesn't feel like the fender is like flexing in any way, but we've got a ton of shimming options if needed when we do the final fit in, you know, several weeks time. The mounts for the front panel are in. The nut I've made captive on the bottom only has, if you can see it, a couple of tacks on it. Needs more, but I'm going to leave that for now. Okay, so if I had more room, I would move on to the bed now, but I don't. And for me to do the bed, the truck has to point in a different direction. Now, I chopped off all the bracketry I made to support this fuse box down there when I started doing the front fenders, front panel and all that kind of stuff. So I think the next plan of attack is inner fender wells. We'll get those in because the car can be mobile before the HVAC goes back in. And we will be pulling a lot of the wiring off, I think, and I don't think we're going to be filleting it yet, but it's going to be interesting to have a look and see where that, now that on the Vic kind of runs in that kind of area, and I've always done that on all my trucks. I've just brought it through and just run it around, you know, and it may happen on this one as well. I don't know yet, but it'll be intriguing to see where that goes. But I need to pull the wiring from that area and that area so I can start to see if, well, it's not an if, how much cutting needs to be done to get the C10 inner fenders in. And we will have that in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks for supporting the channel, and we shall see you very soon.